Howdy folks. Today we have a game between Zolo and Legolas. Now Zolo is kind of an interesting player because if you look at their profile, it's very streaky, meaning that they win a lot all at once and they lose a lot all at once, and that really seems like a smurf, i.e. someone who just loses a lot so they get easier victories. At the time of this game, they were 195 ELO, which is pretty low. Legolas, on the other hand, was around 700 ELO, just shy of 700. So even if Zolo is a Smurf, I feel like Legolas is a decent match for them. Now this game was pretty quick, but it did seem like Zolo actually was trying for some time and did seem to be following kind of build order. So I think it's valuable to actually look at kind of their mistakes and see how we could help them improve. Start this. They are Khmer. And Khmer, if you remember, they have the farming bonus where they don't require mills or town centers to drop off their farms, so they can just kind of place them everywhere, and they don't require buildings to age up. And I think they have some other bonuses, but those are the two. I believe they can garrison houses too. So you can see already this is kind of a good start with the two houses because you're not going to get pop capped. But you usually don't want to send the other two villagers to build the second house when they're done. Instead, you want to send them straight to the sheep just so that you can get that production in, because the faster you get those villagers working on the sheep, or cows in this case, the faster you get that food in. And at this point, I think Zolo is probably going to idle their TC briefly because they're not going to have enough food, or they're going to have to force drop off. The other thing that is kind of dangerous here is keeping these cows here. As you can see, this villager couldn't get to that cow, and so just went on to this one. This can happen even if you shift click. So if you shift click a villager, said, hey, hit this, but then when you're done, hit this, and they can't reach the animal, they will just continue on to the next one. In this case, I don't even think they were shift clicked, so they just went and killed the cow. You don't want to be eating from two animals at once. It's not ideal. Both players idling their TCs right now, even though you can see they have food. That you want to get better at that. You want to take that down as much as possible so you have as little idle time as possible, because the more villagers, the better. And you see Zolo or Legolas is doing slightly better with that. They have just a slight lead there. We've got 6 on sheep. We're going to lumber camp. Good. Now, generally, next step in most builds is if you're going archers, you do 4. If you're doing scouts, you do 3. If you're going fast castle, I think you also do 4. Would not recommend a fast castle on this map. As you can see, it's very open. Unless you can wall this, which you usually can't when going fast castle, this would be what we call a naked fast castle, and it almost never works. We got a boar coming in. You generally want to lure these under the town center to kill them, as you can see, because the villagers have to walk all the way back. If the boar's under the town center, they just stand up, drop off the meat, and come back down, so it's a little more efficient. Also, I know it's tempting to eat from this cow, especially because it's got so much meat left. The reason you want to go to boar as soon as you feel you have a good mass is the villagers collect faster from it, and they hold more food. So it is more efficient to collect from a boar or a deer than it would be from a sheep or a cow. And that's why this is not ideal, especially if you've got a boar on the field. We've got 3 on wood, even though this one's kind of here, so I would kind of suspect this looks like scouts. But normally you also would have gone to berries by this point, so I have a suspicion this player is not following a conventional build order at this point. Though they do seem like they understand pieces of one. Okay, now we got 4 on wood. Keeping up decently well with the villagers. Now you see, this is another reason why it does kind of seem like this user might be, their elo might be a little underinflated, because to have this many villagers at this level is pretty impressive. And you can see Legolas is also keeping decent villagers, but then again, they're 700, which is at the point where you kind of expect that sort of thing to be a little better. Okay, this is not great planning. You can see there's no other boar for them to take. You usually want to send a villager to start luring the second boar, like you can see here, when that first boar has roughly 150 food on it. And that's because by the time this villager gets all the way out here, shoots this boar, brings it back, you'll probably have roughly 30 food left on the board under your TC, and that's not too bad. This also is kind of dicey. Oh, nice. Nice save. Again, this is better, but you kind of want to move it under, and the way to do that is just select all your villagers, move them back a little bit, wait for the board to chase them, and continue shooting. Some idols. The macro is not amazing here. The scouting's not too bad. You can see there are these patches here. There's some sheep here that didn't get picked up. It might be good to go back and grab those, because that's... Let's see, how many sheep are there? Yeah, that's 3 sheep, so that's 300 food right there. That could be pretty decent. And again, those periods of not producing villagers is not ideal, because now your opponent's 3 up, and of course now Legolas is forgetting to produce villagers as well. Oh, there. I went back and got this sheep. Might be good to get these ones too. Housed. Yeah, this is also a big problem. This is a problem you just struggle with until you get used to it. Even pros get housed. Now, as this boar is done, be nice to have these sheep come in, because then you can move them to sheep. Right now, they're just idle. This, you can see this is half the economy idle right now. This is really not good this early in the game, because you need those villagers to be doing things. Going to a straggler tree is not a bad idea while the sheep come in, just so at least it's not... Getting wood is not the greatest. You want food at this point, because you can see the opponent's going up to feudal. They're probably actually following a build. But at least means that you'll get some resources, so that was a good idea. It would be better to, you know, have the sheep ready, and this also, having them grouped up like this, you're going to kill multiple ones. I'm not sure where they're going now. There's a little bit of mismanagement there. I believe Khmer also age up faster. Let's double check here. No, they don't. That is Malay. They age up faster. With Malay, you can actually delay your feudal age a little bit, because it ages up faster and get more villagers. That is not what this player is doing. They're going 24, which is a nice population for archers if you're following a build. I suspect this was kind of more because they didn't realize they had the food. I'm not sure where they're going now. Okay, so they're going to hunt deer, which I'm not sure if that's the greatest idea. You can see this is very far away from your town center. Your enemy is almost in feudal. They're going to either be going archers or they're going to be going scouts. If they go scouts, they will probably find this, and all these villagers will die. This is really far away, and that's why people tend to push deer in with their scouts. Where is this? Okay, scouts there. A lot on berries, 7 on berries. There's 17 on food. That is just a lot. A lot on food. And I don't really know why you would want to put so many on food, unless you're trying to fast castle maybe, but then you should be building farms at this point. I would imagine more they just thought, hey, I have to take in my berries. But the economy is imbalanced here. And you can see that. You probably want a couple more on wood at this point. This is a good number of villagers. You don't want so many on berries. You want to start getting more on farms, because farms also, I believe, collect a little bit faster than berries, though I could be wrong about that. We're going to gold and stone. The gold, it's a little early, but it kind of makes sense, because you're in feudal. If you're going castle, you want to get gold. The stone, not so much. Unless you're planning on walling, you've got plenty of stone to wall, or building a tower, which you have no indication that you need to build a tower. Okay, you see archers here. So you know archers are being built. The opponent looks like they're pretty well walled as well. At this point, you want to bring these villagers back, because you can see they're starting to make archers. They're starting to make military, and you can see he is bringing them back, which is good instinct. This is a little close to the TC normally. Even with the Khmer strange farms, where even with the Khmer farms, you still kind of want to build them close to the TC in the beginning, because it protects them. Still good villager production though. Mining gold, mining stone. If you did want to go to castle, 3 on gold is good for that because then you'll get that 200 gold by the time you get your 800 food. And you can see they're pretty close to this. And now just a lot on wood. This is a lot on wood. In fact, if I was in this position with this many villagers, I would first try to rush Castle Age, which not sure where that food went. Rush Castle Age, but also try to get a couple more on gold because you're gonna need to get a military out fast. You know at this point you haven't seen anything from your opponent. They are coming. Something is coming your way. But yeah, leaving this mill was smart. This is also unprotected. There's also still no walls. You can see this is kind of an awkward gold here, but it would be easy to wall around this way, kind of grab these camps, maybe wall through here with some houses, just to get some defenses up. It's not going to stop your opponent, especially not in Castle Age, but the idea there is to slow them down. Also to just give some warning that you're here. Right now, you can see here's the opponent. There they are. You got 4 archers, 1 spearman. You have nothing for this. You have absolutely nothing to counter it. You know your opponent's probably got more behind this. Going man-at-arms and building spears, I just cancel the man-at-arms in this case. Though men-at-arms are not particularly great against archers. Or get the man-at-arms research and go for man-at-arms instead of spears. Maybe build an archer range, start moving these villas. You could have walled this too with quick reflexes and force them to go through the town center. But you can see, yeah, they're murdering villas, and that's it. That's the game. And this, you could see Legolas bringing in for stuff. Legolas, fully walled, a lot of gates. Not sure how I feel about that. Fully walled. They've got a town center. They're probably heading towards castle. They have more villas. But yeah, basically this, there was, you can see them building a tower here to protect this gold. That was not a bad move, but kind of too late because already in your wood line. This is why you wall up. Palisade wall here or house here, a couple houses here. This wood line would be safe. Archers would have had to come all the way around through this town center, and they can't bring this force through the town center. If they bring this force through the town center, you will garrison your villagers and just shoot them all down. So they'll have to move somewhere else. You could build a couple walls here. You don't even have to fully wall necessarily, and it is kind of unfortunate that the gold and stone is so forward. You've got towers for that, but for this small raiding force, there's other archers coming in, but if you can deal with this first force, these aren't going to be a big deal. You can marshal units pretty quickly to deal with these, and they're not massed anymore. So that's the biggest mistake here, I'd say. Did good with villagers. Kind of a weird build order, but, it was close to Castle Age. They were close to Castle Age. They had a lot of villagers. And the only reason this happened is that they just didn't wall, didn't protect things. And so you gotta keep that to your advantage. By the time when you hit feudal age, by the time your opponent hits feudal age, if you're expecting scouts, you need to be fully walled or have your villagers protected within roughly a minute or so. For archers, I'm not exactly sure the timings, but it's probably maybe a little bit longer. But either way, there was plenty of time to wall up, and Zolo just didn't do that. Anyway, I hope this was informative, and I'll see you all next time.